Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the Minebuster channel. Of course, we're going through day 5, right? So we're going to go through a quick overview of what we should expect to see in day 5. Now that we've gone through kind of like the first round robin in the group stage, we have all the results, we have all the picks, the bans, the play styles, the team comps, and all the pros and cons of every team here at Worlds now. Of course, it's only a 3-game pool, so it's not exactly a giant pool to pick from. But of course, if we combine the information pool we have here from the first 4 days of the group stage with, of course, the summer splits for all the teams, we can actually put together a decent idea as to how they're going to perform in this next, couple of days. So here we have our day 5 overview, right? So the schedule right here is as seen over here. It's going to be the wrap-up of Group A, of course, and the current standings are over here on the right-hand side, if you could see them, right? So G2 Esports at 2-1, Suning at 2-1, Team Liquid 1 and 2, Machi Esports 1 and 2. Now, quick refresher on my pick'ems a little while back, right? So I said that G2 would be first in its group, Suning would be second, Team Liquid would be third, Machi Esports would be fourth. Now, while they're in that order right now, they're not actually in those positions yet, okay? Because they're both tied for those positions right now. So tomorrow's going to wrap everything up and tell us what, exactly what the positions are going to be. So let's go through this really quickly and let's see what we can figure out about this situation. Now, before we continue here, I just want to make sure that you know that I've done a lot of work on this video. Like, when I say a lot of work and a lot of research, I mean like a lot of it. Like, here, just take a look. This is an entire Excel sheet that I made with every single game, all the details, all the picks, all the bans, the KDAs, the positions, right? Even what position, what champion was picked at. So I've been doing really quite a bit of draft analysis of this kind of stuff. Okay, so here we have Team Liquid versus G2, the game that occurred earlier on today. So as you can tell, right, this is the game that occurred at 4 a.m. today, I guess, yeah. So right now you can see here G2 was 2-0 coming into this game. Team Liquid was 0-2. And of course, Team Liquid won this game. Now, oh, by the way, if you guys see this predicted winner and the winner bar here, you don't need to worry about that. That's just me, and I just kind of do that as I watch the games. I choose a predicted winner based on the draft, and then if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. That's not for you guys. That's for me. But anyways, here we go. So right now, the bans, if you look at them, right, they were Morde, Ornn, and Shen. These were against, of course, Impact. I don't think I need to explain how that works. But as soon as they banned Morde, they decided to go for a mid lane ban on Lucian. And the second they banned Ornn, they caught on. They're like, you know what, maybe we should ban the Camille. Maybe they're trying to look for that carry top laner, which, of course, they did pick Renekton eventually, but we'll come back to that. Anyways, they banned Shen as well, so they're extremely scared of Impact for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I think Wunder can handle almost any tank that Impact can play. They did put him onto a little bit of a weaker tank in Volibear, but you know what? It's not that big of a deal, because Volibear is still a tank, so, I mean, unless you put him really behind really early, yeah, I mean, Volibear can still be just as much of a tank in the late game. Twisted Fate was banned away from Team Liquid, of course, to keep it away from the hands of Caps, who can use it fairly well. Anyways, then we have Leona, Syndra, Tahm Kench, Pantheon. We'll come back to that after we look at some of the major picks in the first round, right? So immediately first pick Renekton. I don't think that's too hard to understand. Of course, they're going for Renekton Nidalee. We could tell that pretty much as soon as they picked Renekton. They went for Volibear Graves, so they immediately answered with the Volibear, and then they grabbed the Graves right afterwards, knowing that they would probably pick a Nidalee over here. Graves is doing pretty well against the AP junglers right now. He's pretty much the current meta pick against the AP junglers. Honestly, I feel like they should have used the Twisted Fate ban here, maybe, for the Nidalee, but I guess they just wanted to give that over to Jankos. I guess they just think that Jankos is not going to be that good at it. I mean, they did get him early on in the jungle. They got a nice invade on him, a late invade in the jungle early, so it did work out for them. So I guess they had a plan against the Nidalee if they did pick it. Then after that, of course, we have Ashe picked up here for perks and Kalista on tactical. So here's the deal. They spent so much time banning against Impact that they actually forgot to ban Tactical's Kalista, which he has a really good win rate on Kalista. And Tactical overall, that's probably one of his better champions. You throw back to the nice highlight reels he had in the LCS with Kalista, right? So I have a feeling that they should have actually banned this away, but you know what? It's fine. Tactical gets his Kalista, Perks gets his Ashe. Anyways, let's move on. Let's look at Actually, before we look at the next 4 picks, we have to look at the next few bans, right? So we got a Tahm Kench ban coming out of Team Liquid, right? So obviously they're trying to get rid of all the supports here, right? So of course Mickey X has not yet picked his support, so they're going to get rid of Tahm Kench. They get rid of Leona here from Core JJ. They get rid of Pantheon here from Mickey X, and Syndra is the ban here from G2 against Jensen. Now, considering they banned Syndra, I guess they just didn't want Team Liquid to first pick it. I think that's my major guess here. The issue is the Orianna was still up, so Syndra to Orianna will still be not too bad of a matchup because Orianna could be a late game could be pretty nice late game, even if the other team picks Syndra. Like I don't know. It kind of confuses me with the Syndra ban, and not just that, but they picked Jace afterwards into, blind picked Jace into Orianna. So I don't quite understand what exactly was going on there. If anything, they should have picked up the Orianna here, and then forced Jensen to take like a Zoe or something like that. That's what they should have done. But I don't know. This pick, Jace pick right here, I'm not quite sure what it was for. I guess they were, I don't know, were they looking to flex it or something? I mean, they can't really flex it anywhere, so I don't understand why they picked Jace here. Jace, in my opinion, has not been that strong right now at Worlds. Every time we've seen him, I believe he's lost. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyways, so with that being said, of course, Jensen picks up the Orianna in the end. Core JJ on the set support. So Core JJ is really good on these engage playmaker type supports, right? So anytime you give him like an engage support or like a playmaker of any kind, he will take it and he will use it to its full advantage. So that's what we saw in this game with Core JJ here as well. So overall in the pick ban phase, I actually thought Team Liquid won this ban or won this draft just because of the team comp that they did end up coming up with actually does quite match their style of play. I feel like G2 was a little bit off on the way that they play. Caps was on Jace, and he can't do much on Jace. I feel like he's a little bit better on the poke mage mid laners or a control mage. So I really think they should have saved the Syndra Orianna matchup, and they should have just gone for it. I'm not quite sure why they went for the Syndra ban there. That didn't quite make sense to me. As well as the triple top lane bans here against Impact, like that seems like a little bit of overkill to me. Maybe the Ornn ban and the Mordekaiser ban I can understand, but the Shen afterwards, are they that scared of Impact Shen? Like, come on, like it just doesn't make sense to me, honestly. Renekton into Mordekaiser, I'm not quite sure how well that match would go for Mordekaiser, so honestly I think Renekton would still be really nice late game comparatively to Mordekaiser, so I still think that a lot of these bans are quite unnecessary. Anyways, moving forward. But with that being said, I'm sure they had a plan in mind when they went into this, but I don't think the plan seemed to have worked out because as you can see here, right, Broxah on the Graves ended up getting really far ahead. Tactical was just running around the map killing people in these fights. They just found the perfect fights. Core JJ was able to find quite a few really nice knockups and put back dunks with the set ultimate, and Jensen on the Orianna was just able to sit back and not die for quite a while and then just grab a bunch of kills and assists. That's all Jensen had to do this game, and honestly, it worked out pretty well for him. So for tomorrow's game, of course, they're going to be doing a run back of the exact same matchup here. First game, 4 a.m. So what I expect to see from G2 is to focus more on Jensen and Tactical than just Impact, and I want to see Wonder match Impact on a tank, probably. Honestly, they could go back to an AP jungler carry top laner matchup, but that's only if they get the Camille. If they don't get the Camille, they go for another Renekton Nidalee or Renekton Lilia, then I feel like Team Liquid will probably be able to run back on them. So I feel like they should go for a different outlook on tomorrow's matchup against Team Liquid, and I think they'd be able to do really well like that. I feel like Jankos has been underperforming a little bit in this Worlds. Perks has always been a little bit inconsistent, but at the same time, they have been playing really well through Wonder and Caps currently, and Mickey X has been making a lot of moves around the map, pretty much any support he plays. So I believe if they play through Wonder and Caps as, just overall throughout the game, then I feel like they should be able to get things done. I really want to see Jankos on a playmaking jungler as opposed to like a Nidalee. I'm not quite sure about his Nidalee, honestly, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he can play it. It's just that I would much rather have him on playmaking jungler like Lee Sin or something like that. Anyways, but with that being said, I think that's pretty much all I got for this game. let's move on. Let's talk about game number 2. So Machi Esports Suning. So here we go. So it's right over here. I got it ready to go. Okay, so Machi versus Suning. I'm pretty sure Suning should be able to beat them in the game tomorrow as well. I don't think they'll be able to put up that much of a fight. Hanabi in the top lane is unfortunately just completely outmatched by Bin. SOFM is able to handle River quite well in the jungle. They put River on Volibear here, which, I mean, I'm not sure if he really likes going tank junglers, but honestly, for me, I don't think River should be doing tank junglers. I don't think Volibear is that great of a jungler right now. I mean, Santorum played him against Unicorns of Love, and they won that match, but they had a lot of problems with the team comp in that match as well. So, anyways, moving forward, let's take a look at this draft really quickly, and let's go through what we need to know. So they banned Ornn first against Hanabi. I mean, Hanabi generally looks to get onto a tank, so I'm kind of quite confused with this Renekton ban. I guess Hanabi can play Renekton, but I would rather have Hanabi on a tank than anything else. They banned away Camille. Once again, they just don't want Suning to get on that Camille, especially if they're banning away Ornn. So Ornn, Twisted Fate, Graves gone, so they're looking for an AP jungler, right, as you can tell already. So I look to over here on Machi for Lee Sin most likely. But I'm also looking for a Nidalee ban here. I don't see a Nidalee ban. So much rather than the Camille ban here, I probably would have wanted a Nidalee ban as opposed to the Camille, but honestly, I think that's fine, because I think you can go top lane Camille Mordekaiser, and I think Mordekaiser can win the lane for quite a bit of it until level 11 probably. Anyways, Renekton ban coming out of Suning, which I don't quite understand. I really don't think Hanabi is going to be going on to the Renekton and winning, at least, anytime soon. Unless they were afraid of Machi looking for like a Lilia Renekton first, second pick. Like that would have been pretty bad, especially after the Camille ban. So, I mean, I guess that's why they banned Renekton. But anyway, so moving forward, they went for Lucian ban over here. On the side of Machi. Obviously, Lucian is pretty much just an insta ban right now in the current meta, so that's fine, especially against the LPL. Moving forward, so here we go. Picks. So Nidalee first pick. That's pretty expected from Suning. I don't think anybody would have doubted that. The Volibear is a little bit less expected. We've seen Volibear played into Nidalee before, but I personally don't like this matchup. I would prefer Lee Sin here, probably like a tank Lee Sin, if anything, but I think it's just much better engage-wise and playmaking potential. Or maybe even a set jungle. I think the set's still up here too. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how set would do into the Nidalee though. So anyways, moving forward. After that, we have the Ashe pickup here for Unified. This is a really early AD carry pickup. Like, they could have waited a little bit, but I guess it's fine. Now, I'm guessing that Bin just assumed that it was going to be a tank top matchup for Hanabi and just went Jax, carry top laner anyways. Or maybe this was something that they had practiced in the case that Camille Renekton got banned. So I guess they were banning Camille Renekton. They didn't want Renekton to go up against the Jax. Maybe that's a reason why they banned Renekton. And there you go. So they picked the Jax, and then they picked the Syndra for Angel immediately after that. Which I think is a fairly straightforward pickup, but the problem is that now Machi has the capability to just ban away more AD carries in the second ban phase. But I guess one thing, in the LPL, we know that they're pretty comfortable on Ezreal and Aphelios as it is, so I guess they just went for the Ezreal anyways, and it did work out for them, so, I mean, honestly, I think the LPL is probably just really comfortable in Ezreal in general right now, so anyways. So we got Azir here on tank. I guess tank didn't do too bad, but I really wanted to see. I don't like Azir right now in the current meta. Let's just say that. I don't like Azir right now. Against a Syndra, I would have probably wanted to see maybe like a Zoe or. What else could he have played? I guess Orianna was still up in the matchup, so I guess he could have gone for the late game Orianna ulti. Especially since they got the Volibear with the ball delivery system, so and the Rakan too. Like, I really think Orianna would have been a better pick here. Anyways, moving forward. So after that, we have the Ezreal pickup by Huan Feng, the Bard pickup by Sword Art. So yeah, having Sword Art on a playmaking support is always a good idea. And the Rakan by Kai Wing to match the playmaking support on the other side. So I think that that was a pretty decent pickup on the side of Machi, but the Azir pickup I don't like, and the early Ashe, I think that's fine. I mean, Ashe Rakan is not a bad deal. But honestly, one thing I would have loved to see here on part of Machi is maybe a CC engaged tank, for example, the Nautilus, which was not banned away in this game. So if you have the Ashe Nautilus in the bot lane, I mean, Ashe Rakan's fine too, but Ashe Nautilus is just much harder CC. They have the damage in the Azir and the Ashe, and the Volibear can do quite a bit of damage himself as well. So having that much tank and that much damage would have been really nice against a team like Nidalee Jax. Syndra, considering they don't have a true tank on the other side, right? So if you just heavy tank on your end, then you're much more capable of doing this, right? I feel like Rakan doesn't do nearly as much damage, and he's really squishy, right? So Jax can kill Rakan pretty easily in these cases. I don't know. I just would have preferred to have a tank support here on Kaiwing instead. That might have actually changed the entire complexion of those team fights. It would have made Machi have much more of a team fighting situation. So anyways, that's pretty much it for this draft. Of course, in the ensuing one, I did predict them to win just because of the draft they have, right? It just looks really nice. You got Syndra in the mid lane, Carry top laner with the AP jungler, Ezreal Bard. The one thing I didn't like about their entire team comp here is that they didn't have a tank, but they played the early game perfectly. They managed to get all the picks that they wanted to, and it didn't end up mattering in the end. So honestly, well played by Suning. If they can do the same thing again tomorrow, I really don't have any complaints. Just I think I need a little bit more engage, honestly, from Suning. But I guess they wanted to go for a pick comp, so I guess it worked out for them. And honestly, I think they might just go for another comp like this again. But I think Machi will be ready for them tomorrow. So I highly doubt that this same comp will be coming out again. They're probably going to be banning the Jax tomorrow. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Let's go to G2 Machi now. So G2 Machi happened earlier. Really early. I think this was day 2. G2 Machi X. Here it is. Okay, so this was on day 3, actually. Sorry. So here we go. G2 Machi X. So the bans here were Twisted Fate, Shen, Lucian, Set, Ornn, Renekton, right? So it was Twisted Fate, Set. So it was just an easy ban against Caps here, right? So people have been banning it left and right. Set banned by G2 just to keep the flex away from both River, Tank, Hanabi, and Kaiwing, right? So it's a 4-way flex for Set, and I really do feel like a lot of the players here can use him. So that's actually a pretty decent ban, or a pretty good ban, I should say, from G2. Shen banned away by Machi X against Wonder, so Wonder is really good at Shen, so I don't mind that ban at all. Ornn banned away just because they don't want them to first pick the Ornn and then pick the Graves into that afterwards, so that's a really good ban away by G2. Lucian banned away from Machi. Once again, that's just like a staple ban from any decent mid laner at right now. So I'm guessing Tank is just not that great at playing Lucian mid, so they're just going to ban it away. They're not even going to go for that kind of comp. So moving forward, by the way, they usually look to put Tank on a control mage in the mid lane, so that's probably why they banned away the Lucian. But then again, Syndra is a direct counter to Lucian, so I don't quite understand it. If they're going to go Syndra into Lucian, I mean, Syndra can lane pretty well against Lucian, so I don't know what they're trying to do here exactly, but anyways, moving forward. So Renekton is picked up over here. Renekton gets banned away over here, so they don't want the 2 major top lane picks going away to first pick as first pick to Machi, so they're going to ban it away. Renekton seems to be banned away against Hanabi quite a bit in this situation, so I'm guessing there's some sort of history here. But anyways, let's move forward. So the first pick was a Graves, which makes sense. I don't think that's too out of the ordinary. It makes pretty good sense to me, especially if you know that the other team's going to plan to go an AP jungler. So right now they picked Ashe and Nidalee, right? So they just pick Ashe for Perks' comfort, right? So as you notice, he played Ashe in the game against Team Liquid as well on day 4. So just something to keep in mind, right? Perks really does like his Ashe pick, especially early, right? They picked Ashe's second pick last time, so just to keep that in mind, right? Anyways, moving forward. The Nidalee picked up for Jankos, right? So pretty straightforward. So once again, same. This is another pattern, right? So early Jankos, Nidalee. So Jankos likes playing Nidalee. We can tell that. Oh, whoops, sorry. Anyway, so let's move forward here. After that, we had the Syndra Senna pickup, right? So Syndra picked up. I don't think that's too hard to understand why. Tank wants his control mages. So I think that's pretty straightforward. Unified picks up Senna, which once again, just fine by me. I don't see any real problem so far, but then you come over here and you see the Camille picked up by Wonder. So now that Wonder picks up the Camille, you got to really think about now what's going to happen in the top lane, right? So the only other pick that really works against Camille right now, like I said in lane, is Mordekaiser, and we saw that work out for Impact when he tried to use it against the Camille in the playing stage, if you guys remember that, right? The first game that Impact played, Mordekaiser went very well for Team Liquid, right? So that's and not just that, but Mordekaiser were used in, I believe, four games of the playing stage against Camille, and lost 2 of the games, I think. So it was like a 50% win rate against Camille, but it did win lane quite a few times. So, anyways, moving forward. So here we have the 2 bands afterwards, right? So we got Volibear band over here by G2. So they're kind of afraid of Machi doing the same thing they did against Suning. Then you had the Leona band over here. Just support bands in general against Mickey X, right? So the Wukong band over here on part of G2. So I guess they just don't want the Wukong Camille matchup, right? Which, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty decent matchup as well into Camille. And then you had the Echo band over here. So I guess they don't want Caps playing Echo. I'm not 100% sure why that ban is there, because I mean I don't think Caps would play Echo anyways. I think he would probably go for the Galio or the Syndra, or sorry, the Oriana or the Zoe anyways. Which, by the way, yeah, that's what I wanted to see from Caps in this game. I wanted to see a Zoe, but I mean they went for the Galio. They didn't have much tank, so I guess that's why they wanted to go for the Galio here. I mean that's fair enough. If you're going to go carry top laner, and Camille Galio is a pretty nice matchup, right? So it's a pretty good synergy between these 2 champions. So yeah, they went for the Galio here, and they worked it pretty well too. So I mean, they got a pretty nice win over here. The Galio and the Camille did very, very well in this game, and they worked very well together. So yeah, Perks just had to kind of sit back on the Ashe and just pull out a couple ultis here and there. Yeah, I don't think this is too difficult to understand what they did here. Senna Pantheon into Ashe Tahm Kench. So as soon as they pulled out the Pantheon, they pulled out the Tahm Kench on the other side for Mickey X. It's pretty straightforward, right? He wants to keep the Ashe alive, make sure they don't lose the lane. That's all that they're really trying to do there, is just not get completely shoved in and pushed in. And then in the late game, Ashe's arrow is just going to be a monster in the team fight, right? So it's pretty straightforward. Mordekaiser picked up here for Hanabi. Yep, just like I said. Camille, Mordekaiser into Camille is just the kind of general matchup that people are going for in these situations. And yeah, there you have it. So that's that. So Machi X ended up losing this game against G2. And like I said, I predicted the winner for this game to be G2 because of the draft that they had. It just seemed much better than the draft that Machi X pulled out, right? As much as I do like Mordekaiser into Camille, if you can't play it well, then the Camille can still win, which is where I was kind of worried for Hanabi. Is will he actually be able to pull off the Mordekaiser against the Wonder? And he wasn't able to. So I mean, he was 6-5-5, but I mean that doesn't mean much. That was in the late game. He got a couple kills, but anyways, moving forward. Oh, by the way, once again, day 3. So obviously Machi X and G2 are not 0-0 and 0. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I think it was 1-0 here. Oh, sorry, 1-0, and it was 1-0 here as well, right? Because this was on day 2, Machi X beat Team Liquid, and on day 2, G2 beat Suning. So yeah, there you go. Okay. Anyways, so that's that for this matchup. I think G2 should be able to take this match as well. So far we have, I'm going to say G2 wins the first game, Suning wins the second game, and G2 wins the third game. And then we have Team Liquid Suning. So let's go down here. So this is the last match that Team Liquid had with Suning. So once again, really quickly. So first ban from Team Liquid was Camille against Bin, right? So Bin can obviously play the carry top laner, so they just banned both of them away. Shen and Ornn banned away, right? They don't want tactical on any of the major top laners, right? So if you give if you give impact the major top laners, so this is a pretty decent pattern we're seeing here, right? But that's now that the Camille and Renekton's banned away, right? We don't need the Mordekaiser ban anymore because you're not going to be playing Camille anyways. So they decide to ban away Ashe here, away from I meant on the side. Sorry, Ash is banned away now from Huanfeng, and the Twisted Fate is what's banned away here from Jensen. So Jensen can use Twisted Fate pretty well. I'm sure Angel can as well. But anyways, moving forward. So here we go. The picks. First pick, Syndra for Team Liquid to get Jensen onto the Syndra, which he did perform fairly decently on. It wasn't that bad of a game for Jensen. It's just that the rest of his team didn't have that much pressure around the map. Moving forward. Nidalee Galio picked up almost immediately for Suning afterwards. Galio was a pretty nice pickup. Of course, Galio into an AP Mage is a pretty decent pickup usually. I guess they just wanted the Galio because they weren't going to go for too much tank on the rest of the map, so they went for the Nidalee Jax here, as you can see. But anyways, moving forward. Twitch Rakan picked up immediately for Tactical Core JJ. They just wanted their 80 carry combination to go well, but then again, Jin Leona was still open, so I'm not quite sure exactly what they wanted to do here, but there's quite a few counters to Twitch Rakan. So this is a pretty gutsy pickup from Tactical Core JJ this early in the draft. Moving forward, you got the Draven picked up for Huanfeng in the third pick. So as soon as he picked up Twitch, so Huanfeng just went straight for that Draven. I mean, it makes pretty decent sense. You just wanted to go for the damage counter into Twitch Rakan, so they just go for the lane bullying. Now we go into the second stage of bans, right? So you got Mordekaiser banned over here. Of course, they're trying to go some kind of AD top laner, the Wukong ban. So I guess they thought they were going to go Wukong, but they went Jax. But anyways, moving forward, Set banned away, Graves ban here to keep that away from Broxa. Which, by the way, here is where I feel that they should have actually picked the Graves a little bit earlier. So instead of picking Tactical Twitch, I think what they should have done is they probably should have gone. If they were going to go Twitch, they probably should have just gone Twitch Graves and then just left the Rakan up. But I guess they really just wanted the Twitch Rakan combo. So instead, what they should have just done is they should have just gone Graves here, second pick, into top lane pick for Impact here, right? So instead of putting Impact on the Volibear, which ended up going 0-3 against the Jax, they probably should have just gone Graves Mordekaiser right here. And that would have been really nice pickups for both Broxa and Impact immediately. And then what you could have done is you could have looked for the counter picks on Tactical and Core JJ, because they can only ban away like 280 carries. So right now, they're going to ban away Twitch Jin, and then you still got Senna open, Callista open, right? So they're going to have to choose between Twitch, Jin, and Callista to ban away from Tactical. And if they don't ban away any of the supports from Core JJ, then he has full picks, right? So I would much rather do that than just have them ban away Mordekaiser and Graves here, which is what they probably should have picked up here. And this would have probably changed the way the team looked for Suning as well on the other side if they managed to do that. Definitely there would not be a Draven here, that's for sure. Anyways, moving forward, this would probably have been the top lane pick, so most likely they would have gone, I don't know, something like the Wukong probably, but anyways, moving forward. So here we have now Leona first picked up, obviously by Sword Art here, because they wanted to go for the top lane counter pick here. So they went Lee Sin Volibear. Lee Sin just because that's Brox's other comfort pick, and Volibear just because, of course, they still want impact on that tank top laner, and he has played Volibear top before. So right now, as a result, they just go Jax top. They get the Jax, Nidalee, Galio, Draven, Leona combo, and it's pretty much GG easy in the draft for Suning, in my opinion. Like I don't quite understand this Twitch Rakan early pick here by Team Liquid. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they could have done better there. But anyways, that's it. That's the game. That's right there. All right, let's move on then, and let's take a look at the next match. By the way, if the Team Liquid keeps drafting like this, it's going to be a Suning win tomorrow. So unless Team Liquid outdrafts Suning, I don't think Team Liquid's going to win that game. I mean, they do have a little bit of momentum going into tomorrow from beating G2, and G2 did beat Suning, so technically speaking, they got that going for them. But then again, G2 did just kind of int yesterday, so I don't know. It really depends. Anyways, let's keep it going. So Team Liquid Machi Esports. So Team Liquid Machi Esports, I think where is it? This is the first game, I believe, of this group. Yeah, here it is. Team Liquid Machi Esports. So here we go. First ban, Twisted Fate from Machi X against Jensen. Okay, fair enough. Nidalee banned away by Team Liquid. They just don't even want to deal with that. Twitch banned away by Machi X. They know what, and this was the first game that Team Liquid had played here, right? So, I mean, obviously they remember the Twitch Rakan first pick from the play-in stage. So obviously that's what they're trying to get rid of here. Set picked up by, Set banned away by Team Liquid here, just for the flex. Once again, this is a pretty popular ban against Machi. Moving forward, Shen banned away from Impact, right? Ashe banned away by Team Liquid here. Now, they banned away the Ashe, but then they end up giving up the Ornn first pick here. Now, that's really bad, because everybody knows how good Ornn is in the current meta. I mean, I get that they picked up the Mordekaiser for Impact, but still, Ornn would have been a much better ban here. And then if you ban away the Ornn, then the Mordekaiser stays open, and they don't get the Ornn, right? So they have to probably first pick Renekton or something, just to get a decent top lane matchup, or they have to first pick the Graves. Which is honestly fine, because then Broxah could have gone Lee Sin, and they could have gone Lee Sin, Mordekaiser, which would have been really nice too. Anyways, moving forward. I guess they just really didn't want to give Bruce the Ashe for some reason. Anyways. They could have also just gone Graves, Ashe, and then picked up Mordekaiser later on. Or, no, honestly, Mordekaiser, Graves would have been just fine there. But anyways, moving forward. So after that, they gave up the Ornn, they took the Graves, they took the Orianna, which I'm still kind of surprised that this is a pretty early pick. They could have just waited, because you know that they're going to be picking mid laner in the probably second, third slot over here. I feel like they should have waited for the counter here, and they should have just gone straight for the Mordekaiser here. And then they pick up Volibear Syndra here, and then they pick up Mordekaiser here, which, I mean, you already knew the Ornn was in the top lane. Like, you didn't need to waste the time with the Orianna here, because this gives them counterpick here with the Syndra, right? And I feel like, once again, Syndra in the 1v1 matchup is a little bit stronger, while Orianna in the overall team fight might be a little bit more useful. But then again, Syndra can just pop somebody in the late game, right? So you just choose a target and just kill him. So as a result, of course, Syndra, if she can win the 1v1 matchup well enough, which in this game did happen, of course, the Orianna is not as great in the late game. So moving forward, here we have now the next bans, right? So we got Nautilus banned away against Koala, Rakan banned away against Core JJ, Pantheon banned away against Koala, Thresh banned away against Core JJ, Rakan, Thresh both being really good on Core JJ. And then you got an immediate Caitlyn first pick on Tactical, Ezreal Karma for Bruce and Koala. I mean, they got the Caitlyn, so I probably would have liked to see more of a Senna Tahm Kench here out of Machi X, honestly. I think that would have been a little bit better. And then they pick up the Lux over here, right? So they got the Caitlyn Lux combo, which is a really, really oppressive bot lane, just looking to push you in the whole time. So honestly, I don't know what to say, man. Machi X didn't exactly win this draft. Which is why I predict the winner to be Team Liquid, because in my opinion, I don't think they drafted that well. It's just they just played way better in the laning phase, and that Ornn really did weigh heavy on Team Liquid in the end. Gemini on Volibear was somehow able to outjungle Broxah, and it was kind of weird. Like, I think Broxah was playing pretty well, but I don't know. It just didn't work out for him. Impact trying to carry on the Mordekaiser, but it just doesn't work out. Jensen just didn't have enough pressure in the mid lane, and it just didn't work out for them. Team Liquid just kind of flopped in game one, and this is what happened, right? They should have been able to win this game. I thought this draft went pretty well in their favor here, from what I saw. Especially the Caitlyn Lux, they win bot lane. Mordekaiser can go pretty well against the Ornn, but of course Ornn is going to be way better in the late game, in my opinion. And then of course Graves, Orianna. Orianna is a good mid laner. Graves, probably one of the best junglers right now, aside from of course if you have an AP jungler carry top laner. So Graves is pretty good into almost any matchup right now. But I don't know. This does not. What is it? They got two tanks, one support, right? Or how do you say, like a healer support? You got a long range poke style AD carry. Same idea with the mid laner, right? Long range poke, mid laner, high damage, high DPS. I guess they had everything they needed. So they got a bunch of damage, they got a bunch of tank, and a bunch of engage here. So to be fair, they have a pretty decent team comp here. But you know what? The engage on this side is not half bad. It's just not quite there. The only real engage they have here is if Lux hits a binding or, Oriana hits like a flash ulti or something. I don't really see any super amazing engages here, and I don't know, man. It just doesn't really look like Team Liquid had the right kind of setup going. But I thought for the lane matchups they should have been able to win, but even that they weren't able to win. So that's kind of what ended up in Team Liquid's downfall here. So honestly, the laning did get better for them over the past couple of days. So, it's looking a little bit better for them. So I think Machi Team Liquid is not going to go the same way that it did on the first day for Team Liquid. So it's definitely not going to go that way. So I think Team Liquid's gotten a little bit better because of that. Machi, I feel like, has kind of stagnated. They're just kind of the same. They're just playing the same way the entire time. So because Team Liquid is playing a little bit different, a little bit better, I think I'm going to give this one to Team Liquid. And then you got Suning G2. The last time we saw Suning G2 was right here, same day, day 2, G2 Suning. And of course, G2 won this game. It was a bit of a scrappy game, probably one of the best games so far at Worlds, but G2 won. And there you have it, right? So right now, here we go. Let's quick breakdown of the draft. So Caitlyn, first ban, Shen. Not too hard to understand either of these two bans. It's kind of weird to have a blue side Caitlyn ban, though. I mean, I guess Perks just didn't want to play it, so Caitlyn banned away, Shen banned away from Wonder. Once again, this is just a respect ban from Wonder. Even from the very second day, or the very first day, I should say. This is the first games that these guys had played. And then you have, of course, Nidalee banned away by G2, indicating that they wanted to go the Graves, which they did. Lucian banned away by Suning, just because that's an easy first pick for caps. Lilia, Ornn banned away, right? So Lilia banned away by G2, so that takes away both of the major AP junglers. The only ones that are left now are maybe Evelynn or Elise, we've even seen pulled out, but honestly, obviously, because these two are the main ones and they're banned away, obviously the Lee Sin was picked up there by SOFM. But anyways, don't worry about it. Moving forward. Ornn banned away by Suning, just because they don't want to give that away as a first pick now, right? So that would be the first pick prio now. So they banned that away. Now instead, Caps gets his Twisted Fate, which, if you notice in some of the other games, he just straight up had it banned away. It's literally because of this game. This game right here. This is why he had it banned away. Anyways, moving forward. So after that, we have here Renekton Syndra picked up. I guess he already picked the Twisted Fate, so you can just pick the Syndra now. I mean, yeah, it's fair enough. I guess they wanted to save the jungler for later. I feel like they could have just gone Renekton Graves here. I think that would have been a little bit better for Bin and SOFM, but I don't know. I feel like the Syndra pick could have waited. I don't think this was necessary right here. I think Renekton Graves would have been a better pick overall. But anyways, moving forward. So then here they went Graves Volibear. They just get Wonder straight onto that Volibear, which is fine with me, honestly, at this point in the game. I think they could have looked for... I was gonna say a Camille, but I guess Camille Renekton is not exactly the best matchup, so... Yeah, fair enough. I guess the Volibear into Renekton is a matchup that people are trying to play quite often now. So okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, Volibear on Wonder is fine. Lee Sin, of course, he was the main jungler that they were going to pick up in the first place. I just feel like the Graves would have been better in this case. So SOFM picks up the Lee Sin. And then we get to the second ban phase, right? So we got Kalista, Thresh, Twitch, Tahm Kench, right? So Kalista banned away from Tactical, not Tactical, excuse me, Perks. And Twitch banned away from Perks. You see, as soon as I see Kalista, I just think Tactical. I don't know why. Anyways, moving forward. Kalista banned away from Perks. Twitch banned away from Perks. Pretty straightforward bans. G2 bans away Thresh, Tahm Kench, right? Tahm Kench because they don't want Protect comp going on in the bot lane, and Thresh just because he's probably one of the best supports right now. Once again, in my opinion, Thresh is one of the best supports right now. He's just not being played as often as I thought he would. He's been banned away a lot of the games, but I mean, I feel like he should have a little bit of a higher prio than he does right now. But anyways, moving forward. And then Ashe was picked up here immediately by Huang Feng. Ezreal Bard picked up here by G2. Okay, so Senna and Leona were both open, but I guess Perks just really wanted to play Ezreal in this case. I mean, Mickey X on Bard is fine. I mean, he's really good on the playmakers, but maybe I don't know. I just feel like a little bit more tank would not have hurt them, but I mean, I guess it worked out for them in the end anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So moving forward then, Ash Nautilus. So Nautilus was picked up last year, which is pretty straightforward. I don't think this is too hard to understand, but yeah, I don't think this is too bad of a pick, but I would have rather seen Sword Art on a little bit more of a mobile support that can do a little bit more, maybe like a Leona or a Rakan, but yeah, that's fine. Nautilus is not a bad pick by any means, so Ash Nautilus is not a bad lane at all. Anyways, let's move forward then. So that's pretty much the draft. So overall, we got Renekton, Lee Sin, Syndra, Ash, Nautilus. And over here we got Volibear, Graves, Twisted Fate, Ezreal, Bard. So while I don't super love the Ezreal, Bard, Ash, Nautilus matchup, I really do like the Graves pickup here and the Twisted Fate pickup here for G2. And I think that matters quite a bit, especially if you look at just the sheer KDAs, right? 6, 3, and 10 on the Twisted Fate. So obviously Caps had a hard carry on this game. 3, 6, and 7 on the Graves. So Jankos wasn't exactly doing too well on the Graves here. In fact, he hasn't done that well in any of these games, surprisingly. Even if we look at where is it? G2 Team Liquid, right? Jankos on the Nidalee, 2, 4, and 8. If we look at where's the other one? Where's it? G2 Machi, right? We got Jankos 5 and 3 on the Nidalee. Okay, I guess he did pretty decent on the Nidalee, but that was against Machi X on Graves Mordekaiser, so fair enough. Not too bad. Anyways, moving forward. So overall, in my opinion, I still think that G2 did kind of win this draft. Just because of the Volibear Twisted Fate matchup. The Graves Twisted Fate matchup. I just think this is just a really, really nice combo. The Bard can make some playmaking moves, can make some engages, so can the Volibear. So they have a little bit of engage going on here. Here, that's one of their bigger problems. I mean, they got the Asher, they got the Nautilus ulti, but I mean, Lee Sin can also be a playmaker. So I mean, they do have engage. It's not like they don't, but they got damage. They got one tank. But Nautilus doesn't really tank super, super early, though. I mean, he becomes a really decent tank at what, like 2, 3 items, maybe? Volibear is a pretty nice tank right from like 1, 2 items, so... Lee Sin can be kind of tanky. And Renekton has his ulti, right? So he's pretty tanky as well. So, honestly, the matchups on both sides are pretty nice, actually. Except for the Ezreal Bard. I'm not a huge fan of that. But you know what? Ezreal can do enough damage if you can play him right, so I guess Perks did manage to end up doing quite a bit on the Ezreal. I mean, he did go 7, 5, and 10, right? Mickey X managed to move around the map very, very, very well. 0, 3, and 17. I really did like the way that Mickey X played this game. Yeah, G2 Suning is going to be really interesting tomorrow. Obviously, that's the last match for the day, but oh man, that's going to be a banger. I feel like that match is going to determine who's going to be first or second in the group. So, anyways, so with that being said, in my predictions, once again, I'm just going to come back here. I'm going to turn off the Excel sheet. So, in my predictions, once again, right now, I predict that Team Liquid will take, the G2 Esports will take the match, the first one. Suning will take the second match, right? So that's a win here. That's a win here. It's a tied still. Machi Esports versus G2. G2 should take the lead, so that's 3. Suning, Team Liquid. I feel like this might be an interesting matchup. This could be a place for an upset. If Team Liquid can beat Suning, then Suning does go down in prio. They become 2 and 3. Here you would have 3 and 2. And if Team Liquid can beat Machi and G2 can beat Suning, then Team Liquid would have a tiebreaker with Suning here. So the only way for Team Liquid really to get out of groups here is if they beat Suning in this game that they have here in the middle. But of course, I do still give the benefit of the doubt to Suning here. So Suning will beat Team Liquid, and then we move on, and we got a 3-1, 3-1, and then we have Machi versus Team Liquid. So this will determine the kind of lower ranking here, because Team Liquid will lose both, Machi will lose both, right? So they'll both be at 1 and 4, 1 and 4. So if Team Liquid can beat Machi, they'll take third. Machi can beat Team Liquid, they'll take third, right? So it really depends here. And for the sake of my pick'ems, I really hope that Team Liquid can demolish Machi this time around. It is a bit of a kind of a mismatch here, though. I mean, I really feel like Team Team Liquid kind of just dropped the ball in the draft in the first game. I think that's really all it was. Anyways, moving forward. After that, we got G2 Suning, right? Once again, this will be the kind of decider for who's first and second, right? And once again, for the sake of my pick'ems, I hope G2 can pull off another win against Suning. But honestly, this is probably going to be a really highly competitive game. I expect Suning to do quite a bit towards the late game, but I feel like G2, if they can scrap enough, they might be able to win this game just like they did the first time. So they should look to do a similar draft just because it seemed to work the first time. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got for this video for you guys today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow after the results are up for Group B analysis. Peace. See you guys later.